We got some prop bets coming up this weekend. And Ross Tucker, the brand ambassador for DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56, giving you new customers 56 to 1 odds on either team. Just bet $5, get $280 in free bets if your team wins. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Patrick. Get 56 to 1 odds on either team. Bet just $5, get $280 in free bets if your team wins. That's code Patrick at DraftKings Sportsbook. Ross Tucker, host of the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, CBS Westwood One color analyst. Ross, good morning. How are you, buddy?
Dan, I am fantastic. I would definitely be better if I was getting a chance to see you guys in person and sitting on the sectional, but I'm very appreciative and glad I could join you anyway.
What's the food spread this weekend for you?
You know, that's an interesting question. I'm actually incredibly lame on Super Bowl Sunday. So I typically don't work the Super Bowl. So this is the first weekend, believe it or not, since the Eagles' first preseason game, August 11th. Well, I guess last weekend was. That I'm not traveling to broadcast at least one game. And the first couple times I did it, Dan, I would go to like a Super Bowl party around here. But you probably know how it is. Like, I'm at a Super Bowl party, and the doctor to my right is asking me a question. This guy who's got the business, what do you think about this? I just don't have a lot of interest in people talking to me while I'm watching the Super Bowl. So a lot of times I'm pretty lame when it comes to what I eat on the Super Bowl. I think what I might try to do this year, if I can pull it off, I might go to the Super Bowl party like an hour early. I might crush some buffalo chicken dip, have a few wings. Of course, the drums, not the flats. Drums are way better than flats. That's common knowledge. Maybe some hummus, so I feel good about myself. I'll stick some carrots or some celery and some hummus. If everything a hummus you have offsets a wing. So like I'll alternate to feel better about myself. But then 15 minutes before the game starts, I'll leave and come back home so I can watch in solitude and not have people ask me questions.
Yeah, my wife said, do you want to have a party? And I go, good God, no. Like I just want to sit. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to watch. That's it. And she goes, okay. Give me just a little tequila, cigar. That's it. Just watch the football in solitude. Don't have to answer any of those questions. Now, do you have a favorite prop bet?
I do.
Okay.
I've got a couple, actually.
Okay.
One is, and you're going to laugh at me about this, I love the tails on the coin toss.
Oh.
It's a misnomer that a coin is 50-50, Dan. Okay, have you ever looked at a coin? The head kind of juts out a little bit. As a guy, Paulie's talked about this, as a guy with a huge head, okay, I can speak to this.
Yep.
The head side is heavier. Look at a coin, okay? The tail side is flat. The head side of whoever it is, the George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, I don't even know who it is. Whoever it is, the head side juts out a little bit, and it's a big head. So the head is actually heavier. As a guy with one of the biggest heads on television, filling up the whole Peacock screen right now, I can tell you the head side is heavier. Tails wins 58% of the time, I think, maybe. I'm not sure. I like tails. And then in terms of the actual football, I like both quarterbacks to go over their rushing yardage props. For Burrow, it's 11.5 at DraftKings. For Matthew Stafford, it's 5.5 at DraftKings. Here's the thing, though, Dan. Those yardage totals, they're based on the whole season. Like, these numbers are based on the 20-game body of work. This is the Super Bowl. We've seen John Elway do the helicopter at like 36 years old. We saw Joe Burrow last week scramble for 4 third-down conversions. Stafford can run a little bit. 5.5 yards for Stafford, that's one run. Burrow is going to be under pressure the whole game. He's going to take off at least once. He might get the 11.5 yards on one run. Maybe it's two. Over quarterback rushing has been awesome this postseason. I'm going to continue to ride it with both Burrow and Stafford over at DraftKings.
Okay, but I was wondering about this, Ross. Do they factor in the yards lost on sacks, and does that affect your running numbers as a quarterback?
No.
Okay.
Great question. No, they don't. They do in college football. They do not in the NFL. So sack yardage lost does not go against a quarterback's rushing yards. However, Dan, it's a great question. Taking a knee does. If you remember the Chiefs Niners Super Bowl a couple years ago, the Chiefs have the lead. Mahomes was over his rushing yardage prop. For some unknown reason, Dan, rather than just taking a knee and like losing a yard, Mahomes was trying to take a couple extra seconds off the clock. So twice he backed up like 5 yards and then took a knee. If you guys Google it or you see what people were tweeting at the end of that Super Bowl, people were losing their minds. People lost their Mahomes over rushing yardage prop on the 2 knees he took at the end of that game.
We do have some research on the heads and tails, Paulie.
Yeah, Ross is right. A Stanford professor said it's 51.5% for tails because of the weight issue, and that the heads would have more chance to affect the bounce off a flat surface. And they did it like weeks and weeks of testing.
What other prop bets do you like here?
Can I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
I was totally joking, obviously. I didn't know that. I am amazed. I am back. Now, it's not like it's a Princeton researcher, Stanford, like second-tier school, but still, I am amazed. That is awesome. I like Tyler Boyd under receiving yardage. Love Tyler. I called all of his high school games. But Jalen Ramsey plays in the slot, Dan. I mean, they don't move Jalen Ramsey around that much. People are like, oh, Jamar Chase, Jalen Ramsey. I doubt it. That's not what the Rams have done this year. Jalen primarily plays in the slot. That's not good for Tyler Boyd. So I would take the under on Boyd's receiving yardage, probably over on Cooper Kupp. Now it's over 100. I think it's 102.5, maybe up to 104 at DraftKings for Cooper Kupp. But Dan, the guy has gone over 14 of 20 games this year. The guy is a machine. I mean, he'll win Offensive Player of the Year tonight, I'm sure. I'm still not sure people realize the season that Cooper Kupp has had. This is Randy Moss, 2007. He's not only won the Triple Crown for touchdowns, receptions, yards. Nobody was particularly close. He won the yards by like 400, the catches by double digits, the touchdowns over Mike Evans by 3. I mean, he smoked everybody across the board. I don't think he's going to get shut down in the Super Bowl. I'm going over Cooper Kupp, although Mike Hilton, the Bengals nickelback, is pretty good. That's a good matchup.
He's Ross Tucker, brand ambassador for the great folks at DraftKings. I wanted to ask you about being a former offensive lineman, and if you were on the Bengals offensive line right now, going against the Rams, what is your strategy, since it feels like the game is going to hinge on how good that offensive line is or isn't on Sunday?
Yeah, so I think it's a great question. I think a lot of that depends on how the Bengals elect to help those guys. You know, those guys are competitive. Those guys are confident, but they know what they're going against. They know Von Miller is an excellent player. Leonard Floyd's an excellent player. And they know Aaron Donald is unbelievable. So that's not like there's no secrets here. The Bengals offensive line isn't good. The Bengals know that. The Rams know that. You know that. I know that. The Rams D-line, Aaron Donald's an amazing player. So what it really is incumbent upon, even more than the players in my mind, is what the coaches come up with to protect the offensive line. Is it Burrow getting the ball out of his hands quickly? Do they try to run the ball more with Joe Mixon? They ran it very well in overtime against the Chiefs last time we saw them. Do they do more 2 tight end sets so that the tight ends run through the outside armpit of both the ends, both edge rushers, Floyd and Von Miller? That way, the interior trio can really focus on Aaron Donald. Obviously, you need to get help him. I remember there were times, Dan, you remember Tommy Harris for the Bears?
Yeah.
He had like a 3 or 4 year run where he was unbelievable. I can remember playing for Cleveland, and it was Cozy Coleman and Joe Andruzzi. And I might have been supposed to slide left, but we had kind of decided amongst us, whoever has Tommy Harris one-on-one, that's who I was going to help. Like I was going to look that way first, but there's certain guys that you have to help them, and the guard needs to know he's having that help. Aaron Donald is that guy.
How did the Rams lose this Super Bowl?
Probably, in my mind, two ways. One is Matthew Stafford turnovers, leads the NFL in pick sixes. The Bengals have been pretty good at causing turnovers. They've got some ball hawks with Jesse Bates. Mike Hilton did a nice job. I think a Rams loss looks like 2 interceptions for Stafford. Maybe one goes back to the house. I also think perhaps if the Rams play a single high safety, which I wouldn't recommend, I think T. Higgins and Jamar Chase have favorable matchups on the outside against the corner because Jalen Ramsey, primarily inside at the nickel, I think Joe Burrow, like he's done all year, he will just throw it up to those guys.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen, Dan, a guy have more faith in terms of contested catches with a receiver with the stature of Jamar Chase. Burrow, even in the red zone, even on the goal line, Burrow throws the ball to Jamar Chase, Dan, like he's Randy Moss, like he's like he's Calvin Johnson. Jamar Chase is not that big of a kid, but Burrow doesn't care. He just trusts him to somehow make the play, and a lot of times he does.
Great to talk to you, buddy. Have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Always. Have a blast. I've been enjoying listening to you guys. I hope Ryan in Honolulu destroys Fritzy tomorrow. That'll be hilarious.
Whoa.
What?
Wow. The mock-off.
Traitor.
I gotta support Chat Row. I gotta support. Fritzy, you know I love you, but I gotta support Chat Row and Ryan in Honolulu.
All right.
I
let this one go.
I don't think DraftKings has prop bets on mock headlines.
Wow.
The mock-off. Thank you, Ross, the brand ambassador for DraftKings.